It only gets crazier. It only gets crazier by the day. You got Kelsey Plum exposing the reason that Caitlin Clark is so hated by all of these WNBA players is because she's popular and she's white. This is crazy. We got to get into it, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We have got to get into things. There's been a lot of nonsense going on. The WNBA, the gift that keeps on giving. The clown show continues. Kelsey Plum.
The absolute most unexplainable, mathematically absurd statistical anomaly in the history of professional sports just unfolded in plain sight, and the entire basketball world is finally waking up to the staggering reality of what is truly happening behind the scenes of the WNBA. We are staring directly into the heart of a massive, undeniably suspicious voting scandal that threatens to completely and permanently compromise the integrity of the league's flagship summer event. In an incredibly suspicious, blindingly fast window of just 72 hours, an unprecedented 400,000 votes miraculously materialized out of absolute thin air to completely alter the landscape of the All-Star Game, deliberately dethroning the absolute biggest draw in the history of women's athletics. But this bizarre fan voting glitch is only the opening act of a much darker play. When you uncover how the actual players voted behind closed, highly confidential doors, you will witness a level of pure, unfiltered jealousy that completely exposes the toxic locker room culture currently plaguing the entire association. You are locked into WNBA Watch, the undisputed authority on the raw, unvarnished truth behind the biggest cover-ups and controversies in professional basketball.
Game, the first time ever the players voted for the All-Star game. LeBron James. 128 players did not vote for LeBron James.
The players be hating. The players just be hating, man. I mean, I'm sure it happens in other leagues because I remember situations in the NBA where it happened. I feel like this whole Caitlin Clark thing be on another level.
Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and let's dive directly into the absolute circus currently ripping the league's credibility to shreds. To truly comprehend the sheer, mind-numbing mathematical absurdity of this situation, you have to look at the official raw data drops released directly from the league office. Just days prior to the final tally, the fan voting leaderboards looked exactly how any logical, breathing observer on the planet would expect them to look. Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark were comfortably sitting at the absolute pinnacle, completely dominating the public consensus and reflecting the massive, record-breaking television ratings they pull every single night they step onto the hardwood. Paige Bueckers, who is undeniably a phenomenal, elite generational talent for the Dallas Wings, was sitting significantly further back in the pack in 5th place. But then, in the absolute final 3 days of the voting window, something completely miraculous and mathematically baffling occurred. Bueckers experienced an explosive, entirely unprecedented surge of over 400,000 votes, catapulting her directly past both Clark and Boston to claim the #1 overall spot with 1.4 million votes. We are talking about a player who, while incredibly skilled, does not command the nightly, historic global broadcasting numbers or the sold-out stadium tours that follow Clark to every single city she visits. The idea that her sheer organic popularity spontaneously generated nearly 500,000 votes over a single weekend defies every known metric of modern sports marketing and digital analytics. Fans are aggressively calling this a manufactured glitch, pointing fingers directly at a front office desperate to forcibly spread the spotlight and prevent one polarizing rookie from completely monopolizing the league's entire narrative. But the fan voting manipulation is just the tip of a very terrifying iceberg. If the highly suspicious fan voting raised a massive, glowing red flag, the official player voting results absolutely burned the entire house straight down to the foundation. When the WNBA players cast their confidential ballots to officially rank their peers, they delivered a coordinated message that was so undeniably disrespectful, it borders on blatant professional sabotage. The players officially ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard in the entire WNBA. Let that completely sink into your brain for a second. We are talking about a starting point guard who is actively producing historic, never-before-seen numbers on a nightly basis. She is averaging over 21 points and 8 assists per game for an entire season, a statistical threshold that absolutely no other player in the history of the league has ever maintained for even a single 30-day stretch. Yet, her own peers looked at those record-breaking metrics, looked at the undeniable financial impact she has on their own paychecks, and decided there were 10 other guards currently playing better basketball. And she wasn't the only victim of this bizarre internal ranking system. Kelsey Plum, who is actively averaging nearly 25 points a night and playing completely out of her mind, was incredibly ranked 12th. The mathematical reality simply does not align with the ballots.
She single-handedly changed the league herself, but all the players hate her. Kelsey Plum is going to tell you exactly why right here. Shout out to my bro Angry Fan Sports, because I first saw him talk about this.
But you say if you would have been the number 2 pick or 3 pick as opposed to 1, how do you think that would have affected you, staying in the league through struggles, or not at all?
I mean, I would have been still in the league because I'm a dog. Like, I would have found.
Completely exposing the terrifying fact that these votes are not based on basketball merit, but on deeply ingrained, highly personal vendettas. To truly understand the incredibly dark, deeply rooted psychology behind these completely delusional voting metrics, we have to look at an explosive revelation from veteran Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum. Plum recently opened up about the absolute brutal reality of entering the league as a highly touted number 1 draft pick with a massive media target permanently painted on your back. But she took the conversation a step further, delivering a raw, unfiltered truth bomb about the specific cultural dynamics of the locker rooms. Plum candidly discussed the intense, undeniable hostility of walking into the league as a highly popular white player, explicitly stating that 85% of the league essentially wanted to immediately take her head off. She admitted that the expectations and the intense media glare make the transition incredibly brutal, highlighting a fiercely territorial veteran mindset that actively resents incoming rookies who steal the spotlight. Plum's devastating honesty perfectly contextualizes the exact gauntlet Caitlin Clark is currently running. When you combine unprecedented global popularity, massive endorsement deals, and a completely different demographic background, it creates a perfect storm for absolute locker room resentment. The veterans cannot stop her on the hardwood, and they cannot stop her from breaking their viewership records, so they are weaponizing the absolute only thing they still control: their anonymous ballots. This deeply ingrained, highly toxic locker room culture was further exposed and completely validated on national television by veteran sports analyst Rob Parker. During a scorching segment on Fox Sports, Parker entirely dismantled the romanticized idea that athletes are the best judges of their own peers. He correctly pointed out that the absolute worst people on the
5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't.
Whoa. We got to play that part back.
It's just brutal. And then I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like,
I don't think when you are coming in as a white girl
planet to vote for league awards are the players themselves, simply because they are entirely too personally invested, incredibly petty, and absolutely consumed by professional envy. Parker reminded the entire country that this level of blatant sabotage is not exclusive to the WNBA. He cited the infamous 2017 NBA All-Star voting process, the very first year the NBA allowed players to cast ballots, where a staggering 128 active NBA players actively chose not to vote for LeBron James. It was an ultimate display of pure, unadulterated hate. Players are inherently jealous of each other, and every single chance they get to anonymously screw over the face of the league over pure pettiness, they will absolutely take it. The WNBA player rankings are not a reflection of Caitlin Clark's talent. They are a direct reflection of the massive, bruised egos residing within the veteran establishment. And if you think this completely delusional ranking system is an isolated incident exclusively targeting Caitlin Clark, you are entirely ignoring the league's undeniable, documented history of systemic bias against incredibly popular players. Analysts have astutely pointed out that just a few years prior to Clark entering the league, Sabrina Ionescu was putting up a completely historic, career-high season for the New York Liberty. She was actively shooting a blistering 45% from deep and operating as the primary engine for the second seed in the entire league. And how did her fiercely competitive peers reward her historic season? The players shockingly and absurdly ranked her as the 19th best guard in the WNBA. It is a completely ridiculous, indefensible metric that proves these votes are a coordinated hazing ritual rather than a legitimate basketball evaluation. The establishment actively resents players who achieve massive mainstream crossover appeal, and they use the player voting process as a tool for public humiliation. The hate is real, the jealousy is mathematically documented, and the WNBA players are officially exposing themselves as unabashed haters. As this massive, league-wide voting scandal completely dominates the national sports conversation and sets social media on fire, the Indiana Fever organization has responded by executing a maneuver that makes them look absolutely terrified. In a deeply suspicious, highly paranoid move, the Indiana front office suddenly canceled all media availability, completely barring the press pool from entering the practice facility. There were absolutely no cameras, no interviews, and zero transparent updates regarding the status of their franchise player. This complete media blackout has triggered massive, blaring alarm bells across the entire fan base. Are they actively hiding Caitlin Clark? Is the coaching staff completely terrified of facing the media and answering incredibly difficult questions regarding the toxic voting results, the bizarre fan surges, and the disastrous rotational management of Stephanie White? By locking the doors and treating the entire organization like a classified government site, the Indiana Fever are turning themselves into an absolute circus. When an administrative hierarchy completely refuses to communicate clearly and decisively, that structural void is immediately filled with intense speculation, media hostility, and deep-seated internal distrust. We are currently watching a professional sports league, a highly dysfunctional franchise, and an incredibly bitter veteran locker room actively wage a silent, administrative war against their own golden goose. From the miraculous, mathematically absurd 400,000 vote swing, to the bitter, completely delusional player rankings, to the sudden, paranoid media blackouts in Indiana, the entire establishment is desperately trying to control a narrative that has already completely outgrown them. The veterans can vote her 11th out of pure spite, the league can manipulate the optics at the 11th hour, and the coaches can hide behind locked practice facility doors, but absolutely none of it changes the undeniable reality on the hardwood. The fans see exactly what is happening. The massive television ratings reflect the undeniable truth, and the credibility of the old guard is permanently vanishing into thin air. I want to hear your absolute raw, unfiltered thoughts down in the comments section below. Do you believe the fan voting was artificially manipulated by the league office to protect other players? And are the WNBA veterans officially exposing themselves as unapologetic haters by ranking her completely outside the top 10? Drop your most aggressive takes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay permanently locked into the absolute truth, and I will see you all in the very next deep dive.